What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Bets and Run Pure Sports. Here today with Tyler in Titletown. Tyler, how you feeling?
I'm good. Ready to get back to winning some of these NBA bets.
Tyler, welcome back. Nice to have you back. It's been a little while since we've seen you. Excited to break down some NBA, huh?
Yeah, it's been what, 2 weeks or something. I
Yeah.
had to go up to Big T's and give him a little business out there. So I had to take a day off, give him some business on the court. But and then, yeah, and then something else came up. But excited to hop back on. I've been talking baseball all morning, but NBA is still it's still around, still a sport we love to grind. So I'm excited to break it in early. Hear your thoughts on the betting market more, and then DFS always. We have a nice 7 game slate for a Thursday, so we'll take it.
All right, well let's switch your gears here into the NBA. First game, Philadelphia 76ers, 32 and 15, 26 and 19 against the spread. Heading to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers, who are 17 and 30, 19 and 28 against the spread. Cleveland's catching 10 at home. The exact kind of lines that we usually shy away from, Tyler. Total is 212 and a half. Maybe look to an under here or a prop. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I like the under here. I really like the Cavs team total under here.
Do you have
You've
a
seen
number
them
for it?
I got it at 101.5.
All right.
We just seen them play the Jazz and the Lakers. Those are two teams that rank top 5 in defensive rating over their last 10. Well, guess who ranks first in that stat? Philly.
Yeah.
Now they're going to get this Cavs team without Jared Allen or Larry Nance, their starting front court guys. So you're basically relying on these guards to produce most of your offense. And I just don't see that happening against Ben Simmons and them guys. I'll be
Yeah.
surprised if they break the 100.
I can't argue with you there because it's like you almost want to look for creative ways to get on Philadelphia that don't rely on it. I mean, the Rockets game last night was the perfect example, right? As he just hits the wide open three while everyone's dilly dallying around, and that's the difference between not covering the 12 and a half. But that's the gamble of laying those spreads. I think that's a real creative way to get around it. Title, what are you thinking? Is that something you agree with? And if we are going under, does that limit your DFS options?
But yeah, I think that's a really sharp call. I mean, Larry Nance is out with an illness. Jared Allen's out. They're just not good at all. I mean, their roster is very bad. And Philly plays a lot of defense. And they've finally been playing my guy Matisse Thybulle a lot more minutes. You don't want to pick on, I mean, with Simmons, Tobias, Matisse Thybulle, Shake Milton, that's a very good defensive team they have there. Dwight Howard in the middle. So I really think that's a sharp way because I mean, yeah, the under is already pretty low, and maybe Philly just blows them out. They can get whatever they want inside. I think I like what just taking the Cleveland team total under instead of the whole game. So very good point there. For DFS wise, I still have some interest in Cleveland, mainly Isaiah Hartenstein, just because they need him to play a lot of minutes. He played a lot last game. I think he had like 32 FanDuel points. He's 4K, so I definitely will have interest there. And then Dwight Howard is 5,100 too on FanDuel. If he gets a start again, no one on Cleveland can stop him down low. I expect him to have a very big game. And they rested last game. They didn't come back in the fourth quarter. Dwight Howard only played like 4 or 5 minutes in the second half. So I expect them to come out and run their guys about 40 minutes. So I like the spot for him.
All right, makes sense. Agree with you there as well. The Washington Wizards 17 and 29, 23 and 23 against the spread. Head to Detroit. Boy, a battle of the juggernauts here. The Pistons are 13 and 34, 24 and 20 against the spread. Detroit +3 at home. I just picked on the Wizards the other night thinking that their line was too short. Almost feels the other way here. What are you thinking for this game, Tyler? It seems to me like I think that the Pistons should be getting like 4 or 5. Too short for Detroit. What do you think?
We've seen this Washington team. Russ puts up some of the best numbers we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the final score, it's like they still lost by 8.
Yeah.
I think this is just another one of them spots where they go right in. Westbrook dominates. We see a triple-double. And at the end of the night, Detroit wins the game by 4. So I would honestly take the +3 on Detroit's side.
Okay. So you're opposite of me. Title, what are you thinking for this game?
Yeah, I'm with you, spread. I think this is a little too low. I know Beal is questionable. If he plays, I think it would be more of 5. I was thinking it feels a little short. If he's out, maybe it's about right. So I'm not going to jump in on anything yet. It's hard to do without the Beal news. And for DFS too, the Beal news is important. If he is in, I probably won't have much interest for this whole game. If he's out, then you go right back to Westy and Rui and Rui, Avija or Advia, whatever his rookie's name is. All those guys are always cheap on Washington. Will be popular again if that's the case.
And will Detroit be popular with all the news? Dennis Smith Jr. questionable. Wayne Ellington questionable. Seiko, can't pronounce it, is questionable. Hamidou Diallo and Rodney McCruder all questionable. Is this a team you could target, or is it not really matter?
If all of them were out, you can go like to Josh Jackson, who got the start last game and stuff. But I don't love playing this team, and I mean their prices have kind of rose a little bit. It's probably a stay away spot unless all those guys are out. Then it'd be Josh Jackson, be pretty much the only one. Isaiah Stewart maybe, but I like Dwight Howard and Hartenstein more in the front court.
Got it. Makes sense. Charlotte Hornets, 24-22, 26-19. Head to Brooklyn to take on the Nets, where the status of James Harden is unknown, but we were talking beforehand. We said we think it's doubtful. We'll cap it like he's not in there. That still puts us at Brooklyn -3 with no Harden.
The news is out. Him and Blake Griffin are both out.
And it's still -3. Let me double check Bookmaker. Tyler, where did you get that news?
The basketballmonster.com 2 minutes ago and 3 minutes ago. Harden out, hamstring tightness, Blake Griffin out.
Okay,
yep.
Back to back.
I just got it now that you say it too. Yep, that's confirmed.
Tyler, my bookmaker's going real slow. Do you have a line for this real quick? And
Let me see. Let me see if they updated it.
I don't. So yeah, I don't have it on the board.
I see -2.5 Brooklyn.
Still -2.5. All right, let's just cap it that way. That's actually a surprise to me. I like Charlotte at that number. I can't believe that Brooklyn's still favored without all three. And I guess maybe, I mean, I'm wrong. I haven't placed this bet yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me ask you first, Title. With him out, who am I worried about? Who's gonna beat him?
Kyrie is the only one that I mean, it looks like they're giving a lot of respect to Kyrie in this matchup.
I guess so. Am I wrong to think that they're overvaluing him there?
I mean, I guess Charlotte hasn't looked as good without LaMelo.
Yeah.
They've shown. I mean, Bruce Brown is scrappy, Claxton's scrappy. I think if I had to pick a side, it would be Charlotte, but I think it's priced pretty right. I mean, Kyrie is, at the end of the day, Kyrie is one of the best basketball players when he needs to be. I think he's in DFS now. He absolutely is a very, very, very strong play, probably a lock in cash. Okay. Bruce Brown's 4,400 on FanDuel. He's a lock in cash probably. So I think, it's an interesting line, but I think Kyrie is getting the respect he does deserve.
All right, yeah. And Tyler, my idea here is basically that he's like so great, a great team, not teammate, not to get into all that, right? But basketball-wise, right? Very complimentary. Can he carry the whole load? And Charlotte still has been playing well. What do you think, Tyler? Do you like Charlotte or Brooklyn here?
I mean, hearing Title's breakdown and breaking down the rest of the Nets guys, I hear a lot of scrappy guys, defensive guys on that side. Mm-hmm. We know the Hornets have keyed in on their defense since LaMelo's went down. So I'm going to go right back to my favorite here. Give me the under 224.
All right. I love it, Tyler. Under 224.
I
under
agree
in
with
the Nets game, but with all the pace out, I think having it's like if you're only choosing one of the stars, the Kyrie only lineup probably has the least pace in the Nets. Although
because he's going to play a lot of ISO ball.
The games, I don't have like data to back that up. All right, let's jump into the next game. The Golden State Warriors, 23-24, 22-25 against the spread, head down to Miami to take on the Heat, 24-24, 20-27 against the spread. Miami's laying 3 on a total of 218. Start with you, Tyler. Who do you like in this matchup?
I kind of like Golden State here. I mean, Miami's given up the second most 3 attempts over the last 10 games. Mm-hmm. I think this would just be a spot where Curry smashes. His over 4.5 threes made, I think, could be a play also. Mm-hmm. And I really love that over at 218. Because I think you see one of these teams get above 115, and if they keep the game close, then it's going to soar over.
All right. Good breakdown. What do you think, Title?
Yeah, I was actually on the other side. I like the Heat in this spot with Jimmy Butler, they're a lot more healthy. They have Butler, Bam, Hero. I think this is a good Miami team and one that we've seen a couple weeks ago get hot and play good defense when they're healthy. So I'm on that side, but I'm not going to bet it now because I don't like fading Tyler and being on the other side of that. So I'm not going to do anything there. I definitely can see the over. But again, I don't feel as strong with that. As far as DFS wise, it's going to be a game I probably avoid. The Nets now, we have a lot of value there. If Beal misses, we have a lot of value on Washington. So if I had to play anyone, it would be Wiseman on FanDuel at 4K. They want to play a minute. Steve Kerr is going to start him. They're trying to develop him, so he'd be the only one.
We'll get to see Oladipo's debut for Miami tonight too.
Yeah, that is tonight. Yesterday on the show, I forgot he even got traded. So
yeah. And we got a couple extra minutes, so let me ask you a couple questions. Relating to that. Number one, what do you think of Wiseman overall, his development, and maybe his ceiling? And two, how do you think Oladipo fits into Miami for the playoffs?
Yeah, so for Wiseman, I was very bullish on him when a lot of people were skeptical. Beginning of the season, I liked what I saw too. And then it just, something seems off with him right now. Like he's not even fully understanding the game, or the game's too fast for him right now. I think as time goes on, we got to remember, he only played, 2 games or preseason?
Yeah, 3 games.
In college. So he's very floor rusty, and it takes him a lot of time to get used to. I think he's going to be fine in the future. Put on muscle. Draymond Green's going to be there with him, who's a good mentor. The guy has talent. He has skill, as we can see. I think he'll get it mentally as he gets more court time. But at the end of the day, he's always going to be compared to LaMelo because they passed on LaMelo to take Wiseman, and LaMelo's a freak. So they lost the draft for sure. I think Wiseman's going to be hated more than he should be, but yeah, time will tell. I like him, though. And as far as the Oladipo in Miami, I think that definitely helps him a lot. I mean, he plays defense both ends of the court. Now you're getting him with Jimmy, Bam. They have Hero there to score. Dragic, none. This team is just very, very deep in the playoffs, and I think they're a scary out for anybody. I mean, they can match up with anybody. They can score now with Oladipo helping them. So I like that. I like that trade a lot for him.
All right. Well, yeah, those are some great breakdowns. The funny thing I wanted to add is a little unrelated. Houston messed up their whole return from Brooklyn. I don't know how Allen and LeVert got shipped out, and then Oladipo turned into like Olynyk and Avery Bradley. I mean, it was something. Yeah. It was something not good at all. It was like you were better off just keeping Allen and LeVert. So. What I thought was done really well getting all those draft picks, because I can't believe they gave up that many draft picks. Kind of messed up in the execution on the player side. So
I agree with you for sure. That was pretty. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, definitely. The Orlando Magic 16-31, 24-22 head to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans, who are 21-25, 22-24 against the spread. For as much as we talk about the Pelicans and the amount of respect we give them, their record really isn't that good. Only 21-25. Orlando is completely broken down. I think they're actually a little undervalued. Wendell Carter Jr. played pretty good in their ability to get it done against Brooklyn. So I'm going to keep taking the points here with Orlando till they dip them below 5. What do you think, Tyler? Am I running into a juggernaut here? Am I going to get embarrassed?
I mean, there's a lot of injury news on the Pelican side, meaningful injuries. Lonzo's still questionable, and then Zion, of course, is questionable. If Zion doesn't play, so
I assumed he would. Those questionable, I kind of just skip over those. I look at all the red on the Basketball Monster.
I mean, yeah, sometimes they're nice to scroll past, but then they come back to bite you when you scroll past.
No, they do later.
At 5 o'clock, they're rolled out.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up.
And this is a game where I could see him, even if it's not a serious injury, they're like, yeah, just take tonight off. Orlando's coming to town. They're not a real threat. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that 8.5, I would take that with Orlando. I agree with that.
All right. Title, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hidden value in it because of those 2 injury news. I mean, that's big injury news too. Zion, if he misses, that's their best player. Lonzo, he's been playing a lot better as of late. If they both play, I would not like the Orlando side as much, but I think there is built-in value, assuming maybe one of them does miss or sit. So I like that. As far as DFS, I don't play a lot of Orlando if I don't need to, just because they play at a very slow pace. The injuries, I played them more as of late because of the injuries, but now Wendell Carter's in the situation, so Birch isn't getting as many minutes. It mainly comes down to if Zion's out, I would go to Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, stuff like that. If he's in, it's probably a stay away game for me.
All right. I got a question for you on DFS. 7,100 on DraftKings is the highest Orlando Magic. Is that the lowest you've ever seen for the team's most expensive player?
It really might be, to be honest. Later, as you go later,
7,100.
yeah, I mean they have no studs at all, and all the guys they just play like a high school team, just pass it around, and whoever's open shoot, I guess. But it's a gross roster for sure.
Yeah, that threw me off when I saw. I said, "There's no way you can roster someone for Orlando." And I said, "Okay, well they're doing a good job of tempting you there." 7,100 for top usage guy, it's hard to pass that up and just automatically cross it off. The Atlanta Hawks, 23 and 24, 23 and 23 against the spread. Head to San Antonio. The Spurs coming off a beat down of the Kings. Tyler, couldn't believe it last night. Very disappointed. 25 and 19 against the spread for the Spurs. Now they're going to take on the Hawks, who are playing without John Collins. Their most recent game was the loss in Phoenix, where they played well and kept it close. This is the end of a road trip for the Hawks. I kind of like the Spurs here. What do you think, Tyler? Am I underestimating the Hawks again?
I mean, I think I'm on the same side as you here. I mean, this Hawks team hasn't looked that good on this Western Coast trip. I mean, we've seen them drop a lot of games to some weak teams.
I mean, it's a long trip against great teams, too.
That, too. I mean,
yeah.
They were even dropping games in Sacramento, though. So now they get a defensive, scrappy team in the Spurs. I mean, I kind of like the under here at 220. Right. But with Collins out, that means you'll see more Bogdanovich and more Gallinari. So that kind of makes me want to wait and see if those guys are hitting threes. Because if they're just raining home threes, then you're total shot. Yeah. So that's a wait and see spot for me. But other than that, this is a stay away for me.
I love that you're getting all your unders out of the system before AP comes on the show tomorrow. So, what do you think about this game, Tyler? Give us a quick breakdown.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. If I had to have a favorite side, it would be the Spurs, I think. They're playing better basketball. DeJounte's starting to pick it up. Jakob Poeltl's been a beast. Derek White's he's doing all right. I think Pop's getting him playing hard. I get him +1. I'll just take the money line at that point, I think. And that's the side I lean in this one. As far as DFS, yeah, we can go one of Derek White, Murray, Mills, Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl's he was my SO play yesterday, and he got another double-double. He's just been smashing.
Imagine if he would have made those 2 free throws too.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been.
See, he got a double-double with 2 airballed free throws.
It looks like Giannis out there. It's making me sad. But yeah, DFS, I mean, Bogdanovich is only 4.2K on FanDuel. I only have FanDuel pulled up right now. But I know the Spurs are cheap on DraftKings. So if you want to go one of the Spurs, I like it. It's not a game stack though, because like Tyler said, I think the under probably is more likely than the over. John Collins likes to run. He's athletic. With him out of this game, I think it slows down the pace a little bit.
And how likely is a K-Phallic chart going to influence you to put more Spurs in your lineup tonight?
Yeah, they haven't really worked yet, so I don't think I'm going to follow it just yet. But K-Phallic is a sharp man.
Yeah, you got to love it. I mean, so much fun there with the charts and the Spurs. Let's talk about the last game of the night, the Denver Nuggets, 29 and 18, 23 and 24 against the spread in Los Angeles to take on the Clippers, 32 and 17, 28 and 21 against the spread. Clippers, the home dog here, +1.5, +105 on the money line. Tyler, let's start with you. What do you think about this game?
I mean, this has got Western Conference playoff implications written all over it. These two teams will see each other in the playoffs at some point. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is like a feeling out process for these two teams. Denver's got their new lineup they're running. And, I mean, they're putting up great numbers with those guys on the floor. But, I mean, we've seen this Clippers team stifle other teams before like this. So I think this is just a sit back, wait and see, and live bet game. See if one of the teams can open up a lead. You can get the other one close to like +8. And then I think the other one comes charging back, and then you're right back in it.
I don't hate that at all. Title, so you follow the injury news, obviously just way more religiously than I do. Are you surprised at all the players out on the Clippers side? And do you think this is intentional or gamesmanship or just following the news? Or you're like, no, these guys are really banged up?
Paul, I'm actually getting to the point where at first I thought it might be gamesmanship with Paul George, but I think his foot, there is something that's bothering him. You don't see him miss multiple games like this and game time decisions and be ruled out when Kawhi's on a back-to-back and played like 39 minutes the night before. Usually it would be Paul George sits the first night, he plays the second, and then vice versa with Kawhi. And we got Paul George out for this one too. So I think he's more hurt than people are saying. Marcus Morris, I'm not sure. I think that was mainly rest. So I expect him to come back today, but he does have the questionable price tag. And if he misses, Batum gets the start again, Luke Kennard's going to get more minutes and be in play. So there's value on the Clippers and DFS, but I'm all over the Nuggets in this spot. What is it, -2 or is it -1.5 at your book that you see?
I'm seeing -1.5 right now.
Yeah, at -1.5. I really like Denver in the spot with Aaron Gordon.
Wow, okay.
With Aaron Gordon on the team, they're playing very good defense. Jokic is, he's the MVP, I think, this year. And this team's playing very well together, and I like what I'm seeing for Aaron Gordon. He's playing his role. They have scores off the bench. I'm all over -1.5 Denver tonight.
Yeah, taking a second look at that injury report spread, I second that. Give me Denver.
Okay, cool. You guys are actually talking me into it. I think you make some great points here. I
didn't realize it was this bad. They're missing, and Marcus Moore is questionable too. So that could be another guy down.
Patrick Patterson's the backup big in this game. It's JaVale McGee's on the roster if they want to send him out there too. It could get ugly. I think Denver's gonna make a nice push.
Yeah, I think Denver can make a statement here. Yeah. With all them guys out, they could just blow them out of the water.
And it's all up to Kawhi. Kawhi, could he get 50 and keep him in it? Sure, but I'm gonna bet against it.
All right. Well, I wasn't sure at first. You guys kind of have me on board now. I guess those injuries matter a little more than I thought. Obviously Paul George is big, but you know what bothers me here is Beverly.
Yep.
I think that he means a lot to their team. Maybe not as much, but kind of like Marcus Smart in Boston.
Energy guy. I agree with you.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't show up in the box score. It's not going to give you fantasy points, right? But it helps the team so much, especially when you have laid back guys like Tatum, Brown, Leonard, George, right? You need those other firecrackers out there to really fire up the team. So I think that is one of the areas where they are going to miss Beverly a lot tonight. So be real interesting to see how it goes. I think I'm with you guys there on Denver. Gregory Russo's got a question. What's up, guys? Is it time for best bets? Gregory Russo, it is time. Title, we will start with you. What is your best bet for the day? Side, total, or prop?
Denver -1.5.
All right, I love it.
Probably predictable, but I like it a lot.
All right, no. You just made a great case for it, so that's not surprising at all, and I'm with you, placing it right now. Tyler, best bet, side, total, or prop?
I'm going to take that under in the Brooklyn game, under 224.5.
All right.
I think the Hornets just lock in on defense here. Kyrie's going to be playing a lot of ISO ball, knocking time off the clock. I think it stays under that number.
All right. So Tyler has the under in the Brooklyn Nets game. Boy. So I'm looking through the ones that I really like here, and I'm going between either the Wizards, the Magic, or the Spurs. I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards at -3. I think that's too short to go against the Detroit Pistons team. And I like those other plays too, so I'll be playing both of those as well. Guys, real quick, thank you guys for joining us. Please hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Head on over to runpurebets.com. Check out all the great content we have to offer. To do that, use the promo code BETS25OFF or get the whole combo at runpuresports.com. Promo code HEATER25. You'll get access to both sites, the DFS and the bet side, for only $100 a month. Best value in gambling information. Title, thank you for joining us today. We'll hopefully get back to you next week, and we'll be posting about the winners tonight, doing a little bragging. So thanks for coming on. Anything else you got to say before we get out of here?
No, thanks for having me. It's always fun getting on these shows. You guys have very sharp points, and DFS and betting go hand in hand. If you like an under in a game, then you don't think a lot of points are being scored, and you want points in DFS. And for DFS wise, I mean, like the injuries and the possible value for if this one's out, someone's out or in, and all that. So I love coming on. You're hearing different perspectives, and I know a lot of people have been watching this and having success too. So I love being on these shows.
All right, yeah, thanks. I completely agree. It's just, think outside the box. Broaden your horizons. You're learning as much as I was emphasizing the rotations even before. I'm really emphasizing the rotations now, and I think it means so much, especially when covering the spreads, because you can see the lineups that are going to make the runs. Because you say, "Oh wait, this guy brings him in here. Oh, he's going to torch him." Especially with certain backups that like to get loose. Your Crawfords, your Joe Ingles, you guys like that. So, Tyler, anything else for everybody before we get out of here?
Nope. Let's just start this month off strong with 3 winners.
Oh, it is a new month, huh? Yep. All right. Well, thank you to everyone for joining us. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Run